My name is Napoleon Atukito, a journalist. I stand here at Bimbago in the Bunkurugu district of the new northeast region of Ghana. In the next 1 hour or so, I will tell you the story of Bimobas people, with the Ghana version as the epicenter of this story. Stay glued to your set as I unveil this story of rich cultural tradition of the people to you. Welcome to Bimobas land, a vast territory of northern Ghana. This ethnic group is concentrated in northeast and upper east regions. Bimobas folklore has it that the tribe descended from the Songaya Empire in Mali, which was liquidated in 1591. Some notable cities of the erstwhile empire are Gao and Timbuktu, all in present-day Mali. Bimobas who settled in Burkina Faso, formerly Upper Volta, are called Fada. Those in Niger are called Gruma. Both versions of Bimobas are reckoned to be interchangeable because they are common in Africa's Sahel region and deemed to have common heritage. Their descent towards the coast of Gulf of Guinea did not come without struggles. Bimobas people were resisted by other tribes such as Mamprushis, who allegedly employed Ivorian mercenaries called Trekosis to assist them establish dominance over Bimobas who had entered Ghana and Togo. Those in Togo are called Moba. They are called Bimobas in Ghana, a semantic that hybrids British and Moba since Ghana was colonized by the British. Even if the relationship among these ethnic actors is fast-forwarded to contemporary times, one realizes that Mamprushis only lost their stranglehold over Bimobas not quite long ago. Until the latest review of the Chieftaincy Act in Ghana, Bimobas chiefs were enskined by the paramount chief of Mamprugu, who also had traditional responsibility for parts of Burkina Faso at the time. These allegiances are weakening under system realignments. Thus, a chief like Naba Dazuri of Pipira in the Upper East region of Ghana, previously enskined under the old order, now turns to the Bokunaba. On the journey to present settlements, Bimobas heading to the then Gold Coast, now Ghana, were either accosted or attacked by slave raiders, took cover in natural caves in mountains. Some prisoners of war were kept in caves. Maternity duties were also performed in caves for pregnant women. Some of the caves served as places for keeping lions and bees. Leaders considered the direction of the bees as an oracle and settled at places where the bees perched. Bimobas in Ghana marked this historic epoch in a festival called Danjua. This simply refers to wars conducted on mountains against rivals or enemies. Pipira in Upper East region is fulcrum of this celebration. The chief, Nabada Zuri, otherwise called Pipira Dana, or owner of Pipira land, meets his council of elders days before the Grand Deba. There are chief linguists, a warrior, a queen mother, a magajia, who organizes the women, and the chief elder, who acts as the chief's deputy. The chief meets private visitors who are introduced to a cross-section of the community in a palace ceremony. On this occasion, the new youth chief was outdoored. Also here were Togolese cultural dances. As this story wears on, we will understand the Togolese component better. Danjua Festival is here. This was the 16th edition and the chief of Pipira, his retinue, dignitaries and visitors, non-resident natives as well as people from surrounding towns and villages attended. Also present were the regional ministers for Upper East and Northeast, a member of parliament for Tempani, the Bunkurugu Naba, the Nakanduru Naba, the representative of the Bokunaba and politicians. Theme for this event was environmental protection and sustainability.
If you look at the road from Boga through Boku to Garu to Congo to Widana to Bugri to Kwikpra to Denugu, it is terrible. We would feel that the government should try and do something to assist us. Again, from Denugu to Bungpurugu to Nalerugu, too bad. We would appeal again, something should be done.
If only we are able to harness our strength and our resources and tap into this, I am very certain that no region will come closer to the Upper East region in terms of traditions and culture.
The culture of a people, it engulfs and binds the natives of Pipira in the Upper East region and by extension, the Bimoba ethnic group. They might be in the minority in Ghana, but their universal form actually underscores the fact that it is a large and strong monolithic force. They trace their ancestry or their roots to prehistoric Malian Empire, but they actually straddle a number of countries such as Ghana, Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, and the Central African Republic. Their ranks were divided following the colonial balkanization on the African continent, and across time up till today, economic migration has also contributed to their dispersal. The day after the Danjua festival, the chief of Pipira, Nabada Zuri, with an entourage crosses the border into Togo, which is 5 kilometers away. He comes to northern Togo on a dual purpose. Firstly, to thank the Bimobas brethren for joining him to mark the Danjua festival. Secondly, to perform rituals in honor of the gods and his ancestors. You are watching this documentary on GBC 24, a documentary on the Bimoba ethnic group of Ghana. But as has been said already in this documentary, this particular group can be found in many parts of the West African sub-region, including Central African Republic, which is in the center of the African continent. We have just entered the Togo part of their land, and it was led by the chief of Pipiri, who has met his counterpart on the Togolese side. They are just conferring on peaceful coexistence and how to forge ahead in unity and development. And so from this point of the documentary, you are going to see the segment that captures live about Bimobas on Togoland. Keep watching and don't move away. Many chiefs of Bimoba extraction were buried at the foot of the Danjoro mountain in Togo. It was from here the Forbes led their subjects at wars. It is believed that trees, landscape, sacrifices, hilltops of mountains, and valley downhills are possessed by deities. Accompanied by the gendarmerie of Togo from their end, the chief of Pipira meets with traditional rulers in Togolese villages lined along the border with Ghana, such as Wakambu, Marche, Lupela, and Lotogu. Here, there were cordial exchanges such as gifts and by word of mouth, and they make merry to cement relationships. As indicated earlier, the Togo version of Bimoba is Moba. At this stage, we are on their land, and one of their first signposts here is this cemetery. The Bimoba people handed this piece of land for this cemetery to the Catholic Church. It was to say thank you to the church for assisting Bimobas on the path towards enlightenment. This led to the cancellation or the end of the practice or spectre where Bimobas perform ritual killings on children with congenital defects. Homage is paid in memory of an oldie called Turingma, who settled here. Clans of the tribe were named after his 3 sons. The first son, called Nabag Jua, or representative of his clan in present generation, will be the first to hit with a stick the donkey brought to Togo for the chief of Pipira for sacrifice. The blindfolded donkey goes down immediately after the first stroke, although 4 other strokes follow. The animal falls on the ground in motionless state, obviously dead. even before it is pierced with a sharp instrument. To understand this, let me take you to another scene where only a few elders led by Pipera Dana goes there to perform rites. When you are hit with a stake from this groove, it is reported that the victim will die. Such was the stake that hit the donkey to its death within a twinkle of an eye. Strangers to the land who are allowed there after observing some rituals could make requests, which natives say are met by the deity. But wait a minute. There is one condition. The one whose requests are answered is expected to come in 1 year to thank the deity. Just 1 year, no more, no less.
Understand, the place is so sacred that even when our cameras follow them, it will cease functioning. But essentially, it shows the power or the mystical powers of the gods. They go in there barefooted, and there are several objects involved here. Kola nut, a donkey, and a cock. The donkey and the cock are meant to say thank you to the gods and the people of Togoland and the Bimobas who stay here. Whereas the kola nuts are meant to represent each clan he mentions, 32 of them, and anyone who happens to belong to any of the 32 clans within the Bimoba land will take one of the kola nuts.
Killing a red cock is also a part of the sacrifices made, and the many feathers scattered on the ground is evidence this aspect of the sacrifice is long standing. Now, donkey is gone, and the carcass is meat for those interested. The animal is not allowed to observe its killers for fear of haunting the killers. Once the sacred animal is dead, the way is clear for consumption of its meat.
Pupura will take another thigh. Then the Nani clan will take, the breast portion. But those days something happened. The senior sons and their younger brother went to the bush to do hunting. And they went to kill a bat. And there was struggle for the better part of the meat. So what happened was that the senior sons rather, a bat doesn't have a thigh because it's tiny. So they decided that, because he was young, he should take breast here, the other one would take breast here, so that he, the younger one, would take the thigh. But it's taboo, it's natural that if you're a senior, you need the thigh. But they refused and took the breast part. So the guy, the younger one, which is Nanik, decided that I am coming home with that portion of my meat to come and report to my father. And he reported to the father, and this is what happened. The father then said, okay, you the Naniga man, you are the owner of the oracle. You have sold your birth right to your younger brother. So as we are going to share this meat, the Naniga man is the one who is doing this sacrifice, and is supposed to be the one to be the first person to take the thigh, then followed by Pupura, and then Nababa. So the significance here is that we are now coming to share it, and then we all take our portions and leave.
Far away from here, inside Togolese territory, the team was led to another point of traditional significance: spiritual water bodies. This stream, locally called Dung, it is habitat of a Bimoba deity. It is said that no one drowns in it and the water never dries out. When the stream freshets, water channels out of it through natural passages. It is also believed by Bimoba people that the Dung catches the bad omen of their land and sends them away to other destinations through connecting rivers and seas. Nearby, two streams intersect, and the force appears to channel into the white or black volta into the sea. The high tidal Yiyo stream has upper hand over the Aduk in this spiritual encounter. Small hollow wells in this environment were dug to trap horses in past conflicts. Nawat Jaji represents the chief of Togolese town called Tapialem. Farms in the catchment area are beneficiaries during rainy seasons, as water sprinkle out of control and end on farms. In dry seasons, farmers suffer, not to talk about nomadic cattle herders whose activities destroy farms. Farmers in Togo appear to echo sentiments by Ghanaian counterparts against the cattle grazing phenomena. Out of Togo and on his way to Nakpanduri in Northeast region, the chief of Pikira made a stop on a bridge under which tributaries of Yiyo and Aduk streams pass. Recalling the force with which the two streams clash, eventually the Aduk subdued, the chief noted that in the past, whenever a royal was crossing the bridge, it was heralded by acoustics as playing the flute or the sound of a flute, or in modern times by blowing vehicle horns to signify the sacredness of the place. Around this place and elsewhere in Bimobas land, locals pointed to us deposits of clay material which are recovered and mixed with salt before being used on buildings as paints. Name of this chemical compound is called kaolin, part of group of industrial minerals. The product, which naturally comes in different shades of color, is what northerners apply on their traditional round houses built with mud. Houses stand far apart from each other to allow families to farm around the houses or the spaces left around the structures. These are common structures in northern parts of Ghana where they are built without windows yet provide a cooling effect against the hot sun. With the exception of a 2-megawatt solar farm at Navrongo in Upper East region built in 2014, Ghana has yet to take full advantage of the bright and intense sunshine in the north to power electricity. Jeremiah Kansuk on the kaolin.
All you need is just to mix with kerosene. Then you'll be able to paint the whole house. The other colors is also on this side. You see the brown color where we used to coat it. You understand? Where we used to coat it. So you can see that somebody had just come within these days to dig this place to go and paint either the house or the room. Because this is the only source of paint we have around this area.
The highest point of an escarpment believed to be horizontally the longest in the West Africa sub-region is at Nakpanduri. Paths are carved for waterfalls. What a sight to behold.
Ghana's first leader, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, put in place the accessories for this natural landscape for touristic purposes, for which reason he put Ghana under a tight microscope to have a clearer view of the landmass for specific development. That this facility is in the state that it is now, in a state of abeyance, shows that posterity is failing to build the superstructure of the foundation that he set.
Stones were placed on a diagonal course to allow Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and visitors to climb to a height from where they could catch panoramic view of the landscape. This scene is a mock exercise of how Dr. Nkrumah planned to sit on the stone to be flanked by northern chiefs. A small depression was made in the stone where he was to place his drinking bottle or any light item whilst he indulged in conversation. His planned visit to this camp in 1960 was truncated when he came under bomb attack at Kulungugu in Upper East on the first leg of an itinerary. Trees planted around the stones are called pek by the Bimobas tribe. A guest house attached to the scarp by Dr. Nkrumah is largely unattended and its contents considerably depreciated. Dr. Nkrumah was advised to allow the planting of pine trees around the guest house, which was to host very important personalities like himself. The tree is believed to possess spirit powers to exorcise evil, drive away malevolence, or diffuse attack by the enemy.
I'm saying that in Bimobas land, this tree is very significant. If you are going to settle in a place that you think that there are a lot of enemies that might attack you in the night, in those days that I'm talking about, what you do is that this tree, you would have to look for it and plant around your gate, maybe in between where you are going to pass through. And this tree is called pin in Bimobas language, pin. pen, if I can directly translate it, means that the, can I say sucker of bad spirit.
Nakpanduri Naba David Kansuk Nagolbila states that the conflict-prone area no more has curfew imposed on it, as feuding parties have smoked the peace pipe, buried the hatchet, and extended olive branch to each other. The traditional ceremony that engendered the thaw is called blood burial.
I know of oil fields. The Eastern Corridor is going to pass through oil fields at this place. So I'm going to say, that's just 5 kilometers from here, or 10 kilometers, 5 or 10 kilometers from here. And those oil fields, it has been confirmed. They came here, they conducted a workshop, they called the chiefs and people of the area and told us what this will mean for our development. So as for oil, it's sure. And I know that this our scarp will be flowing with minerals. So if studies are conducted, surely they will come up with the requisite minerals.
He says the Nakpanduri scarp is fit for use by paragliders and sightseers, an untapped tourist destination that requires capital injection to clear the mud on the jewel.
Yeah. Investors should come in their numbers. Come and then invest in whatever field they can find themselves in. Now we have Nakpanduri Guest House. It was built by Nkrumah. It was built at the highest point. In fact, it was next to the highest point of the Gambaga Scarp. They say they call it Gambaga, but we think it should be called Nakpanduri Scarp, because the highest point of the scarp is at Nakpanduri, not far from where Nkrumah put his guest house. And in fact, at another place, there was where he placed a flag of Ghana. That is the highest point of the Nakpanduri scarp. He put the flag there, but we don't know what he wanted to do. So I would say that he was thinking of putting a paragliding facility there.
Bunkpurugu is also a town in northeast region of Ghana. It was at the center of violent conflict in the struggles between two gates to occupy the skin of Bunkpurugu. The paramount chief of Bunkpurugu traditional area, Na Alhaji Abuba Nasingmon, also discourages chieftaincy disputes and highlights peace for rapid development of the area.
We shouldn't be very much involved in conflicts of interest of chieftaincy, because chieftaincy as it is God's gift. If you are not ordained by God to be a chief, you cannot be a chief. So let us understand each other and live in peace and harmony. We have some deposits like dolomite and limestone also in some of the areas, and he was thinking that if some of these things people or stakeholders get to know, maybe they can help develop the area.
Three contrasting scenes telescoping into each other. These are the scars of communal violence that visited the land, the violence that is responsible for its lagging development. These and others put together were deterrents to tourists. Yet at the center of Bunkpurugu lay a stone cast in the mold of the map of Africa, which in addition to the Nakpanduri scarp has the potential to draw visitors to both towns.
This rock was not shaped by human being, it was naturally formed. And so when we were kids, we were told stories that Bimobas believed that they own Africa. And that story was told and told over and over again, that Bimobas own Africa. And so the essence of this rock, in our belief, is the fact that this is where you get all Bimoba people, which means that in our belief, there are Ashantis here, there are Gonjas here, the Gombas here, whatever it is, but this is the African map in Bunkpurugu. It is not carved by anybody, it's natural.
Like the history says, we from Sudan, or the ancient Sudan, we moved together with the other Guruli tribes up to Niger, where we came forward and our brothers, like the Gombas, moved into Nigeria and came back. and we converge at a common place known as Pusika, from where some of us went into Togo, and the Dogombes and the others also moved into the now Ghana, where they fought fiercely with the Gonja people and even retreated to a certain place around here we call Tusuk, where there's another oracle. If you go up to pray, our landlord, the overlord of the Mampurugu traditional area, if he's unskinned, he goes there to take his rightful authority.
District Chief Executive of Bimpurugu Nakpanduri is Alhaji Abdul Majid Azuma Duti.
I think the people from Bimpurugu this time have realized that peace is needed and conflict will not send us anywhere. So instead of taking the law into our own hands, they have then decided to go the legal way. So that is why after this peace pipe was smoked, the case was in court and the case is still in court. So people have realized that it's not good to take the law into our own hands.
The Member of Parliament for Tampani constituency in Upper East region is Mr. Joseph Dindiok Pemka. He's also a Deputy Minister of Justice and Attorney General in the Akufo-Addo administration. He talks about the little spark that degenerates into major conflicts in Bimobas land.
Those things are triggered usually by, with the greatest respect, trivialities. When there's a problem between two persons, instead of treating it as individual problems, they treat it as community problems. And that is what is giving the bad name. You know, if I go to the market square and I'm selling a goat, you come and buy, you're not able to pay, and there's a problem between two of us. How does it become an ethnic problem? But I think one of the biggest problems that we have is the lack of education. We need to educate our people to know the difference between individual differences and clanal conflicts and tribal conflicts.
He says the porous border between Ghana's Upper East region and Togo has security implications.
We need to be frank with ourselves instead of pretending. It is true that the borders are not secured enough along here. That's a fact. And so sometimes it allows for cross-border crimes and all that. But these things have been reported to RCC and measures are being put in place to ensure that such things do not occur.
Tampani used to be part of Garu before they were split in two districts and constituencies prior to 2016 general elections. The lawyer indicates effort to alleviate the plight of the people.
Health facilities, Urianga, Bugri, Wikira, Akara, Basionde. I have procured motorbikes for these places. I've distributed the motorbikes through my common fund. I procured motorbikes to enhance that. And I donated various sums of money from my common fund to a number of those communities, Urianga for renovation of the facility, Timpani for renovation, then construction of a maternity block at Akara and a construction of maternity block here in Kwikra. If you get to the clinic now, you see there's 10 trips of sand heaped there for the work to commence on that.
At one stage, it took media reports before positive changes were brought to bear on the plight of school children in Garu who sat on the floor to conduct lessons. District Chief Executive of Garu is Mr. Emmanuel Avoka Azori.
When I came as Chief Executive, I realized that on the league table in the region, Garu Timpani then placed last consecutively for 5 years. And that was one of the angles I tried to look at and tried to work so hard to be able to change whatever are the problems confronting us. I think that many of the issues have to do with the holistic absence of furniture for the children to sit on. Again, I realized that supervision was one of the biggest challenges, and so I took the bull by the horns to procure for the use of the children a 2,000 number dual desk furniture to be able to try to minimize the problems that confronted education at the lower level, especially in the primary and the basic junior high school levels. We still have so many of our schools studying from under trees. And in fact, as a chief executive, I try to do some of the things that are within the powers of government and called on the philanthropic society to come to our aid. One of such philanthropists is Magdan, who lately, about 4 days back, commissioned one of the biggest schools in the region at the Tion community.
A medical officer who is a captain in the army, Fuseini Alhassan Suleimana, is a Bimoba native.
We see a lot of malnutrition in the community, a lot of anemia in the community. For instance, when I came, I had about 10 women coming to tell me that they have dizziness, they easily get tired when they are working, and these are signs of anemia, but they don't know. So the main problem we have here is ignorance, malnutrition, anemia. So we see pregnant women, when they are pregnant, they won't even go to hospital. They are not giving iron supplements, and so most of them have anemia. If you go to Bimobas, for instance, we have large deposits of rock, economic rock, that's the dolomite, which is usually used in cement production. I think some time ago, government planned to establish a cement factory there. The same stone or the same rock we have in Bupe, where we have the Savannah cement. But then we have not heard anything. The last time they came, I think that was about 5 years ago, nobody has ever mentioned it. So we're just thinking that if this one district, one factory, government could look at that, and then because the stone is in large quantity, we don't know what to use it for. We cannot actually use it, but these are the very precious rocks that are used in cement production.
Sundiata Lari is secretary to the Traditional Council in Kikira. I got a lot of insight about Bimoba people from him and his chief. This was how some Bimoba names came about. In the past, some natives were abducted and initiated in secret cults where they were taught language esoteric to that group. Before they came out, the initiated were given names that branched their genealogy. Women who declined marriage proposals were also initiated, hypnotized by the strange procedures of secret cult and given away to men they initially rejected. Combat means warrior. Its female name is Konjet. Another male name is Lambong, meaning the bearer of news or message, whilst undertone of Lari points at an erudite, academic, or a writer.
When it became necessary, and the fact that the people continued to remember the fact that their dependence, their survival, and so many things depended so much on the protection of the mountain, then it was something that they never forgot of it. They kept our ancestors celebrated it. They kept remembering how they came about, what protected them. And so going forward, we thought that as a people, if we have to grow, if we have to put ourselves together, given the scattered nature of Bimoba, I may just want to digress more to tell you something. If you look at Bimobas and our settlement, you realize that we are found in Ghana, we are found in Togo, we are found in Burkina Faso, Central African Republic. Even half of the population of Benin are Bimobas. And so we are scattered everywhere. We are not at one place. So it looks as if wherever we are almost being referred to as minority group. But it is just these political demarcations and stuff that has put us apart. And it is as if we are living in irrelevant areas and stuff. And so looking at it, we thought that it is necessary to put ourselves together. It is necessary to grow. So the only way we can grow, the only way we can develop, the only way we can fight poverty, disease, and ignorance is to put ourselves together.
Bimoba names include Dut, Kombian, and Jatuat. Bimoba is distinct from Kotokoli, Basari, and Konkomba, who are fairly interspersed across Upper East, Northeast, and Northern regions.
Mr. Chairman, I come here with mixed feelings. One, a feeling of our rich culture, and two, a feeling of poverty. As I traveled from Tamale, when I exceeded Nakanduri, I started enjoying the Bimoba dance. And I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Our waist, our legs, our neck, every part of our body enjoyed the dance because involuntarily the car will yank us from one end to the other.
Lacking, but of critical importance to towns in these regions, are good roads, well-equipped schools, advanced hospitals, clean drinking water, agricultural irrigation, marketing of farm produce, and the aesthetics to promote tourism. Will the public-private partnership investment focus and stick to the north for consistent development? Will the civil engineering company be hired to station in the north and systematically build the clusters of social infrastructure required in the north for the north? Is development lopsided in Ghana? Yes. Are there social inequalities in Ghana? Yes. These questions have direct correlation with limited opportunities in the north, forcing most of them to the south for greener pastures. Out of these economic bottlenecks sprang the social phenomenon called kayaye, or head porting, in which youngsters from the north come to cities in the south to do menial jobs. This has also placed farming in the north squarely at the feet of the aged. Bimobas people say the north has something special to offer, and it is time to turn attention to the place.
What a sigh of relief. I can now beam with smiles, having run through this presentation with a very stern countenance, because obviously it has been padded with a lot of items. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Bimbago in Bunkurugu district of the new northeastern region of Ghana. My name is Napoleon Atu Kito. Keep watching GBC 24.
Nobody,